C. Krishniah Chetty Group of Jewelers. Welcome, Mr. Vinod, for this panel discussion. It's a pleasure and honor to have you with us. Heading the Gem and Jewelry Council for 2 years, way back in 2009. And also he's on the board of the World Diamond Boards. And what idea to bring him here is because Dr. Vinod published a coffee table book called Carnatic Visual Past. This is basically covering the 150 years of the CKC journey in the jewelry industry. And he is a very well researched from Dr. Vinod, this topic, even I am not very clear what it means.
Yeah, thank you, Sumesh bhai. It's always a pleasure to share some of my thoughts whenever Sumesh bhai is here speaking. He always asks some intriguing questions. Thank you everybody for taking the time to be here today. You see, we are based in the Carnatic and the Deccan area for over 150 years now. Now, whatever we have achieved has been thanks to this particular area, which is the Deccan and the Carnatic region, which goes south of the Vindhyas up to the tip of the peninsula of India. This area has been one of the most fertile lands of the country. If you go back even 1,000 years, 2,000 years, this area has been amongst the richest mineral wealth, even from the olden days, like the Golconda mines also were from this region, the Deccan Plateau. It's been a very stable plateau. There has been no earthquakes, no floods. It's been fortunate. I mean, I think all of us are very fortunate to be in this particular area. And we thank the area that we come from and how we catered to all the royal families. Mysore, of course, we were royal families to we were royal jewelers to the Mysore family. We had about 25, 30 different royal families that we catered to. And that is the reason maybe how the brand, the Krishniah Chetty ethos or the culture, whatever you may call it. I don't want to call those very fancy words, but it's a very, in those days, this is the simple business that we were doing. If I go back on the accounts of my father or my grandfather, great-grandfather, all of this, we have records from about 1860 onwards. So it's very unusual for a jewelry firm or any business in India to maintain the records for such a long period. I think it was the some kind of a British influence on our family to maintain those records. Now, a little bit about, if you don't mind, I'll just tell a little bit about the area that we all live in. We come from the cantonment part of Bangalore. All of you may know where the Kantirava Stadium is. Yes. The Kantirava Stadium. That particular point, there was a gate. There was a gate which separated the Bangalore Pete, as they used to call it. That was the Pete. Beyond the Kantirava Stadium was the road Bangalore, the Bengaluru as they call it. Post the cantonment, up to about Fraser Town, it was all part of the British cantonment. Even today, if somebody were to go around, those of you who are not from Bangalore, if you go around in the cantonment, you will find names of roads like Infantry Road, which means it's a British infantry was stationed there. Then you will find one Cavalry Road, because there's a cavalry, the horses and the cavalry was stationed there. Main Guard Crossroad was the main guard of the British Army. And then there are barracks. All over the cantonment there are barracks. Even today, the Indian Army has all the barracks there. So all of these are...
This is which year we are talking?
Now we are talking about, see, the British came in the 1830s into Bangalore.
Right.
Because the Maharaja of Mysore gave the land to the British as a gift to establish the cantonment, the army.
And today also the Indian Army occupies.
What I'm trying to comprehend is 1830s when this situation, these
Yes.
names came in.
The cantonment itself was started around 1800. So by 1835 it had become.
Any idea how many jewelers will be there at that point of time in Bangalore?
At that point of time, there were not many. We were founded in 1869. There was another Madras company called P. Orr and Sons. P. Orr and Sons, a British company.
Okay.
They were in Madras, but they were also in some way of that era. And then there was also another Bangalore company, but an English company by the name of Barton.
Still we have in Bharat.
Yes, Mehta's took over from the British in the 1960s, I think. Until then, it was a British company, the English company. So they were also competitors to us. Otherwise, there was nobody else.
So nothing compared to what we have, like a maddening rush of jewelers today in the city.
No, there were very maybe goldsmiths were there, but there were no really jewelers as such. So it was a very interesting thing. And then Commercial Street was designed for commercial activity. Rest of the area was known as the cantonment, which is for army. But all these wonderful British ladies and men, they like to come to Bangalore because it's a beautiful weather, and they didn't have any, they didn't have any other war here. There was no war in Mysore state, except Tipu Sultan and Hyder Ali, who was defeated by the British in the war of Srirangapatna, where Hyder Ali was killed and Tipu Sultan was killed by the British in 1799. There was no other war in this area. Therefore, it was a very peaceful state.
What I want to ask is, the fascinating, explain how you got the name, the story behind that, and what I've read about is that he was a very humble man, even that point of time, in a business of grains, and then got into beads, and from beads, putting a foundation for such a big legacy, such a big business. Tell us something about your founder.
The cantonment was new, so there were migrations from other parts of Bangalore. In those days, today it's part of Bangalore, but in those days it was outside of Bangalore.
Okay.
So my great-great-grandfather, Krishniah Chetty, migrated to cantonment looking at the British development. He thought that this is going to be the future, and therefore he migrated.
From which part?
From outside of Bangalore, just outside of in those days, but today it is part of Bangalore.
Right.
And he started his business by selling colored beads.
Right.
So he was a bead seller.
Right.
And so he started, and he actually started selling on a bicycle.
Right.
And that then went into a showroom or a business just opposite to our existing old heritage building, which is now 160 years old.
Commercial Street.
Commercial Street, right. Opposite to that was something called Abu Bakr and Sons, kind of a clothing company. And he took some space over there and he started business. Then he acquired later the heritage building that we have today. And that building had 70 craftsmen.
Even those days when he started.
Yeah, they were.
This is the Chota Krishniah Chetty.
Krishniah Chetty and his son. They both, I would still think that their period was a golden period.
Right.
They had 70 wonderful craftsmen. Those craftsmen are something incredible. Even in fact,
From South India?
Tamilians, Teluguites, by and large. The north had not come to Bangalore yet. And Kerala,
Bengali karigars?
Bengalis, there was no Bengali known at all at that time. It was basically the Tamilian and Telugu speaking people, and we were part of the Madras presidency at one time. So a lot of Madras Tamil speaking people were here.
So, sir, this particular era, then you had the first generation, second, third. It was, what I read is, it is not all that smooth success. You had ups and downs. At one point of time, even your heritage building was mortgaged, or there were some issues. With a great difficulty, you got it back. Tell us that story.
Okay, that's a very interesting question, Sumesh bhai. 150 years is not easy, right? Everybody goes through ups and downs in our life. So, Krishniah Chetty had 3 children. One of the oldest is my great-grandfather, and he had 2 brothers, siblings. They were twins. So they were like Ram Lakshman. So they were actually called Ramai Chetty and Lakshmai Chetty. Okay, they're like Ram Lakshman. So 3 of them did the business for several decades. The youngest brother one day went to a neighboring Sindhi moneylender and borrowed 7,500 rupees in 1915.
1950.
Okay, 7,500 is a lot of money in those days. Unfortunately, what happened was by 1929, that money had grown. 7,500 became 79,000 rupees.
75,000.
7,500.
When we borrowed, it became
79,000 rupees.
Oh, Sindhi interest.
Yes, Sindhi interest. So apologies to the Sindhis who are here, but
No offense to
no
them, but that
offense
is
because
how
I
it
have a
is.
lot of Sindhi friends. So the Sindhi moneylender, being a good businessman, he had taken a mortgage of
Businessman for himself.
yes, good. I mean, a businessman is a businessman, so nothing is wrong in business, you know. So he had taken on mortgage our Commercial Street building. So 1929, we couldn't pay back that 79,000. So the Sindhi businessman lender went to the court and said, I want to execute the mortgage because you cannot pay the money, I have to take your property. So it went to a court auction, and in the court, my great-grandfather was very worried if somebody could buy it off, because anybody could buy in an open auction.
bid.
So he was worried if somebody buys, he will lose his business, he
Right.
will lose his livelihood, he will lose the property,
Reputation.
everything.
Right.
So, you know, knowing that situation, 4 wonderful people of Bangalore came up to him and said, Adinayan, we are all your friends. And these are people who you all know. I mean, especially those in Bangalore would know these people. Even today, they are one of the finest people of Bangalore. One of them was the Prestige developers' great-grand uncle, who is Gul Mohammad Seth.
Irfan Razak's grandfather,
Great-grand uncle
great-grand uncle of Mr. Irfan Razak,
of Irfan Razak, yes, and Noman,
who's the current chairman of Prestige Group.
right.
Right.
So,
It's the same.
It's Seth. Yeah. So the grandfather of the current owners, he also said 4 of them. I'm telling you this story because it shows so much of love and affection by people who are not related to you.
Right. And it's not like today they are coming with some ulterior motive.
No.
They just want to help.
They just want to help. But today people put money before relationship.
Right.
In those days, they came up and said, we're going to be in the public court auction. If anybody bids more than your bid, we will all bid more than them and take over the property and give it back to you.
Wow.
I mean, this is something
And this 7,500 became 78,000. How much time it took?
from 1915 to 1929.
Oh, like something like 12 years, 14 years. 14 years.
14 years.
Oh.
So, fortunately, the property came back. Even today, we hold that same property.
Right.
And from that time, before that time, during this period, we were fabulous business we did with the royal families. While this was going on in the litigation or in the money lending area, but the 3 brothers sat together and did some fantastic work for all the royal families. We didn't have any citizens of India as our customers. Either they were British officers or the royal families or the divans.
Coming to that royal families, tell us, Vinodji, how does it used to work? Like say, a Mysore Maharaja or a Hyderabad Nizam, will he do an kind of what we call today's empanelment of jewelers, that these 10 jewelers are my official jewelers, and then he calls them in, gives them the design to craft it, and he gives the gemstones, or he pays the money, and or he negotiates. Any stories?
Well, from 1900 to 1910, we did work for the Mysore
Maharaja.
That time Chamraj Wadiyar.
No, this was Krishniah Chetty.
Krishnaja Wadiyar. Okay.
Krishniah Chetty, then the Jai Chamarajendra Vadiyar, then the Srikanta Datta Vadiyar.
Right.
So this was in Krishnarajendra Vadiyar's time.
Right.
So he, for 10 years, I think he was observing whether we are doing a good job. Because he didn't appoint us as the official jewelers until 1910. In 1910, he appointed us as the official jewelers to the Mysore Palace.
Okay.
Once we were appointed, then of course, it was very easy to do business because there were trusted relationship between us. So we made a lot of material. Even today, if you see a dining table photograph of the Mysore Maharaja, you might have coffee sets and tea sets. They were made by us. If you go to the palace or to the temples of the palace, they have, these rose water sprinklers made in gold. Those were made by us.
Okay.
And we made for them cufflinks, we made necklaces, we made medals. The Gandaberunda medals, we must have made many hundreds of medals because that was given as recognition for eminent service to the state. So whether it is Mirza Ismail, the Diwan Mirza Ismail, Sheshadri Iyer, or all of these wonderful Diwans, administrators of Mysore, the awards given to them were made by Krishniah Chetty.
Coming to the main thing, the family business. See, what we have seen is that as yours is a 5th and 6th generation business today, over a period of time when the business grows, becomes large, and you have 5th generation, 6th generation coming, and everybody has his own ideas, own energy, and they want own freedom to work. Still, a family who's a head, who's a custodian has to take everyone along. So how easy or how difficult the job of that custodian or the head is to take their family member, because so many other family members must be also having similar challenges.
For that, my answer is, from my heart, I will give you frank, my understanding and my learning is that you need to have a very good corporate structure. If you have a sole proprietorship or a partnership, it is difficult to hold the IP of the company, of the business. Krishniah Chetty, fortunately, in the 1980s, before 1980s, we were a partnership firm. Before that, we were a sole proprietorship. So in the 1980s, we became a private limited company. At that point of time, the name of Krishniah Chetty, which was in a partnership, it belongs to all the partners. In order to not to have a problem in the future, that transferred the name, the IP, the intellectual property of the brand into the company. So none of us have right on the name. For example, if I want to start a business as Krishniah Chetty, I can't. I have to fight in a court of law to get it, and it's not easy. So one of the advices that I give people is, you should not own anything. Your company must own everything. You must be a salaried employee. The moment you're a salaried employee, you may get some other benefits. You want to come to SJS, you'll get your fees paid by the company. You want to travel to Basel, you want to go to IIJS, the company will pay for travel and hotel and all that. But those are the same which we do for our employees. The same thing that we do for ourselves.
But a family member is a paid employee plus shareholder, owner.
Yes, even though you are a shareholder, you have to work in two mind frame. One is you are an owner, one is you are an employee. Owner is only in the board meeting and in the shareholders meeting. But in a day-to-day, you are no different from your employees. You have to treat yourself the same as you would treat your employee. If your working hours, even today I go and punch my in and out on my biometric thing. So it's a discipline that you have.
What rule applies to the rest of the employees? Suppose applies to the directors also, you're saying?
Because we are all employees of the company.
Right.
So we are not bosses. We are bosses, but we are not bosses. We are as the same as an employee. If you have that mindset, you will not work like a boss. That means you won't take a decision which is favorable to you. You will take a decision which is favorable to your organization.
And how do you divide the roles and responsibilities in the organization? Who will do what?
The same as you do with your employees. So if somebody is handling one portfolio,
Somebody is
another,
good in sales, somebody is good in PR based on his skills.
yes, it's on their skills, their qualification, their interest, and sometimes some things overlap. So there are certain things that two people amongst the directors may overlap some functions. That's okay, but so long as at the end of the day you are consulting each other and coming out with one uniform decision. If people are fighting on the board, it's going to be unhealthy for the business. So you need to have some kind of.
You're going to open it up for the questions. Before that, one point. What is your message for the family businesses, especially the large family and the one which are a legacy of 3-4 generations? In our business, not Bangalore, of course Bangalore also, I've come across 40-50 jewelers who are 100-year plus. I don't know whether the same we can, software we can't say, software is a 30-year-old industry. Apparels, we can't say, and food industry, we are probably only one having that heritage of 100 years plus with so many companies. But how do they manage, and if they have to go in their own way, any message, your message is what is we need from you?
Well, the one simple message is, like Shakespeare said, we all come, play our part, and we depart. The same thing that applies to us in business. It is not our company. We come, we are working there for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Work and get out. Let the next take over. The moment you think it is yours and everything is yours, that's where the disaster happens.
Right. If I convert this into a Indian cultural context, Indian tradition, like a Bhagavad Gita, just you are here to do your karma, what kartavya, and you are not looking at the result and who's doing it, how is it doing it. Be a karam yogi, something like that.
Absolutely true.
Thank you very much. We have opened for the questions. A round of applause for Vinodji for sharing so openly and frankly. Hardik bhai, Mike, Ramesh ji is a family jeweler. You resonate some thoughts?
Yeah. I think I'm 125 years old.
Your business is 125 years old?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful.
But sometimes, what I feel, the family business, do you think it hindrance for the growth? Because a lot of times when we want to expand, those days our elders were not in the mood to go, either to borrow or to go for IPOs. Sometimes you have to listen to them. My father used to tell, don't make money, make people, money will come. So
Don't make money, make what?
people.
Make relationships?
Yeah.
That's what he meant.
So, but is it the way I'm seeing the corporates, other people growing and the family jewelers growing is a wide difference. Is it a boon or a sin? I'm not able to understand.
70% of the world's businesses are controlled by families. That means 70% are family businesses. But do not behave like a family business. You must behave like a business family. So therefore, you're not in it for the money. You're in it for growing the company. But do not have too much, it's mine feeling. The moment you have too much, it's mine, then you cannot be detached. So it's necessary. There is no difference between a corporate structure or the family structure, both about the same. For example, today, a Marriott hotel, all the big businesses in the world, Tata's is a family run. It's a very highly corporatized family. The same thing that even if you take an Ambani's or a Wipro's, they're all the same. You have to replicate it in a smaller scale.
Right.
And then you can do the same, but maintain the same philosophies, the same principle. Because running a business, irrespective of whether it's a family or a corporate, the method and the principles of a corporate structure you must adopt. Don't adopt a family structure. Because a family structure will last so long as there is no discontent in the family members. The moment there is one small discontent, it will blow up. Whereas in a corporate structure, it's not easy to blow it up. They will have to still follow the law. In India, the Companies Act, for example, is one of the best acts in the world. If you're a company and you're following the 2013 Companies Act, and the earlier Companies Act was 1956, the same act applies to the Tatas, to the lowest company. Even somebody who's doing 5 crores, you will do the same law. So therefore, it's proven over now last 50, 60 years. Court cases have happened, many things have happened. There are enough examples that nobody can fool around in a company. But in any other structure, fooling around is possible.
Yeah, yes, Steve, you have a question. I have just a comment here, which just came in, nothing to relate with what Ramesh said. But there's a general tendency in the jewelers who are very entrepreneurs that, okay, if I have 2 sons, then I'll open 2 more stores. If I have got, say, somebody has got 5 sons, which is not possible today, earlier days, some families do have 5 sons.
Today you can't have legitimately 5 sons.
No, please, this is off the record. So, it is not to be recorded in the video. So, so somebody has 2 sons, okay, I will open maybe 5 stores for them, he will plan 10 stores. Somebody says, I have, okay, now 5 sons, I can go up to 20 stores. Somebody has 1 son, he'll say, okay, I have 1 son, how much can he do? Okay, only 2 stores. That is, again, family and corporate, it is a conflict, right? It is not matching.
You're right. So therefore, first do a simple family business. Don't complicate it. But if you want to grow, you want to do something better, you want to have more employees, etc., then you move.
You have a name to be a Cartier or Titan, or then you have to think differently.
You think differently.
Steve has a question.
Namaste Vinod ji. I'm Stephen Fernandez representing Jewel Buzz. Fascinating to hear you, history, art, culture, jewelry and business, woven of fabric. To come to my question, as I worked in a consultancy that addressed MSME issues, I noticed the fear, for want of any word, to bring a corporate structure, to delegate outside the family, to even have scrutiny of governance and accounts. A case in point is, I was part of All India seminars on the SME exchange. They said when you go on the SME exchange, that is besides the main
Stock exchange for the
smaller ones. So, scrutiny of governance, scrutiny of finances was their fear. So I'm saying this delegation, fear of scrutiny, whether it's the jewelry industry or any other MSME sector, what is keeping them back? Your comments.
Very fair point.
I agree with that. Delegation cannot be a blind delegation. You need to have checks and balances, controls. There must be a whistleblower kind of thing where something goes wrong. You need to have reporting structures. If you think that you can trust somebody and it will happen, then it's you can likely go wrong, because business is built on trust, but not trust alone. It's built on trust coupled with checks and balances and a reporting structure and a good audit mechanism. But for that, you also need to run your business in an auditable trail basis. Because if you want to hide something from auditors or any external, then you can't sustain.
Right. We have Mr. Adarsh from Krishniah Chetty, again a heritage jewelry brand, 100 years plus. Adarsh, sir, how much? 98, going to touch 100 soon. Any comments or any questions?
Well, I would like to say, as the others were asking, one of the questions, what you said, if people do not have the next generation as 2 or 3 children, and if
the number of stores you plan on, number of children you have,
yes.
That's not fair.
Yeah,
That's not a corporate business.
so in this corporate world, what is his suggestion if you have a single child? At what speed should you grow, and how should you hold on to your family?
No, again, can you repeat the last part?
How fast should you grow your business? Should you grow multi-folds or keep it at the same pace what you are, keeping your family size, your family structure?
Means
If
keeping
you
the
have
family,
5 children,
you're saying keeping the family as a priority, is that what you're saying? You're choosing between a family togetherness and the growth of the company, is that what you're saying?
It's actually the family and the business going together. If your business is X, you have 2 children, you would like to make it 2x. Or if you have 5 children, you make it like 5x. But if you have 1 child, should you keep it at 1x or you should aim at 5x?
So it is something, your
Yeah.
question is very clear.
Yes, I personally think you don't build a business based on how many children you have or you're going to have, because every employee is also your child. So if you were to take care of the employees like your children, or treat your children like employees, and treat yourself like an employee, you can have 5,000 children, but you can't have 5,000 biological children. And that's the difference. Build the organization to care, health care for its longevity. I mean, I keep saying, Krishniah Chetty, when he founded, I don't think he knew it will last 150 years. I mean,
Right.
your grandfather, the great grandfather, don't think Shankar Chetty would have lasted beautifully until today.
98 years.
98 years, and you're doing so well, I know it. So I think we should not worry about who is going to be the future. Just build. The world will take care. A day will come in India when even if you don't have children, like in the West, India will follow the same Western philosophy. You can sell the business to somebody and make a good profit, like how technology companies in India, for example, Wilkerson in America, they're a specialist company only to mediate to buy and sell jewelry companies, only jewelry. They're a specialist for jewelry company valuation and buying and selling.
It's a very active business.
It's an active
Jewelry
business.
And probably even for the matter, the world's richest person, Warren Buffett, bought a jewelry business run by a family, a lady who was 77, she was getting retired. He bought the business, put a CEO and kept the same name and still running. And Susan was heading it, who's now the GIA head.
So therefore,
West is different, yeah.
you never look for who's your successor. For all you know, you can sell your business at a profit. During your lifetime, work as much as you want. After that, you grow it or sell it. But rarely today, you will need to close it. You don't need to close it at liquidation value. You can sell it. And there are a lot of people. For example, whether it is Joy or Kalyan or somebody, if they are finding, if you want to exit, you got a great location. Okay, they'll come and say, boss, I'll take over your inventory, I'll take over your people, I'll take over your business.
Yeah, we have
You get money.
very recent examples. Carrot Lane has been bought by Titan at a very high valuation because the value in the business. A small exhibition in Bangalore, Jewels of India, has been sold by a proprietary owner to another proprietary owner for
Shankar Chetty is a prime target. But I know you won't give it.
But you won't give it.
I'm saying, build yourself as a target. Everybody should want you.
Thank you.
Right. Next. Yes. Hardik bhai.
Hi Vinodji. Sir, I have two questions. One is, if somebody is just a single child and he is a proprietor, do you suggest him to convert it into a private limited company? And second is, how do you feel about ESOP pool, like having a stake of the employees in the company, like a ESOP pool? So I just have two parts of the question, sir.
To answer your first question, do you want to convert a sole proprietor to an LLP or private limited? Depends on your vision. If you want longevity and you have a slightly sizable business, a mid-sized business, say 100 crore and above, I would suggest you convert it to a private limited company, but you'll have some compliances. Government compliances in a company is more than an LLP or a sole proprietorship, but it is more lasting. And if you are intending to grow from your current revenue to a higher revenue, 2x, 3x, 5x in the next 5 years or 10 years, a corporate structure is better. It has more, you need departments, compliance, finance, those management areas, because there are a lot of returns and a lot of taxation and a lot of things. But it is part of business, like a fan and light and a table and a chair. You just put people there and they'll be able to do it. People are looking for employment, so you can give employment. The second question about you is about ESOPs.
ESOPs is only applicable if you're going to go public. But if you don't have an intention to go public, then the ESOP is of no use because it's only in paper. But ESOP is useful with certain rights and certain restrictions so that the employees stay with you and they get a return later. But that you should probably look once you are growing quite rapidly.
Once you are going towards an IPO roadmap, then it makes sense. All right. Right, just a quick question. Coming like, as you said, A. Shankar Shetty should be the hot target. Then if he has to be the hot target, according to you, what should be the valuation matrix? It should be the profit into X1, sale into what? Approximately. Hypothetically.
A very tough question. Each one will have to be analyzed on their.
For example, A. Shankar Shetty is a
I know they're doing very well, but I don't know their EBITDA levels and PAT level.
irrespective of that, we're talking about only multiples. We're not talking about the base value.
The best way is to look. Now you have some very good public limited companies.
Ah.
Tangamayil, for example, is a fabulous company. That's one of those real balance sheets that I know.
Right.
Now you can apply that and discount it for the multiple stores at the time they have taken to build as against what you are doing. Discount it or add value according to that. And you'll come to some, a chartered accountant can do it.
Just tell it off the hand. Rangamile is around 2x the sales and 12 to 15x the profit. Yearly profit is there.
So
he's not ready.
So whatever
he's not, but he's not ready.
2x or 2.5x, 3x.
Alright, so if
you're going to sleep very well today.
Adarsh is not ready. He's saying it's too low. Any other questions that we conclude?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Vinod Hayagriv, Swagat Tabaran Private Limited.
Vinod Hayagriv from?
Malleshwaram Bank.
Malleshwaram, okay.
Yeah, good evening. This question is regarding the family business converting to corporate. See, family of four, after getting...
Sir, mic closer.
Yeah, after converting to corporate or private limited company with 4 shareholders, 4 directors like that. If one of the director or shareholder is weak in his performance or ideas or exploring the company ahead, way ahead, in such situation, what would be your suggestion so that we can take care of all this? I mean, 1 or 2 director may be like that, or shareholders. In such situation.
Yeah. What is your question in that? You're saying others are not.
Like that.
So one is working hard, others are not working.
Yeah.
So what is the question? It happens. Most of the business, most of the business runs like that, sir. What is the question now?
How to handle such type of company situation?
How to structure it?
Yeah. How to handle such type?
See, 5 fingers are not the same. You must be able to tolerate somebody who's very efficient and somebody not efficient. Only thing that I would say is, if they are becoming anti-business, if they are going against your business, then you have to do something. But if they are working, but working little less, little more, then you may need somebody from outside. There are very many ways. You get a coach, you get a business coach, a family coach, who will sit with them and discuss 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 1 year. They will tell them, like a father tells the child. The business coaches are there to tell them the principles of modern business, and slowly they will change, but some may not change. So if they are 30, 40, 50 years old, they won't change. So leave it like that, unless they're doing some anti-business activities.
Yeah, sure, please.
Since it is a family of 4 brothers, 2 elders are not performing good and youngers are performing. This is an actual scenario. What I am.
It could be a situation. It could be a situation.
Since they are elderly.
So the problem is that the younger performs and elders are not performing.
Yeah.
More than that, there's ego conflict.
Yes, sir. This type of family-run business mainly.
So it's not about any ego conflict.
Well, it is an issue that will happen in every organization. I always say this, I give an example of Hiranandani's, the real estate people in Mumbai. When Hiranandani's had a family problem, all of them gave up the business. Meaning they said, why? There were 5 or 6 or 8 brothers and cousins and all that. So they said, why should I only work and give everybody? So everybody became, negligent, and finally the business completely collapsed. So sometimes you have a duty to perform to your business and to your family. As an eldest member, you must take them through. As I said, unless they're doing something anti-business.
I feel staying together is the only solution for this.
Wow.
The difference comes, but you have to stay strong and work together, because coming years, the proposition might change also, and the people who are with you might change their view also. You need a bit of more patience to this.
So you think staying together
Staying together is all.
I think you need a round of applause.
Yeah, because you have to see the constitution of the business also, how it has been moduled out. Started by a grandfather, then coming to a third generation. Makes a lot of sense to be together. I feel so.
Thank you very much.
Amongst the Sindhi community again, I hear do batti gyara, which means 2 sticks. When you hold them together, it's equal to 11 sticks.
Achha.
So they say 2 together is equal to 11.
11, yeah.
So
What
therefore-
they say 1 and 1 is not 2. It is
Being individual and selfish.
very nice. Alright, so we are running out of time.
I think one advantage in the joint family or the joint business, what we have been taught by the elders, the stars, what we do believe it. Example, if I have 5 brothers, the stars will be different for each brother. So some may be weak, some may be strong.
Strengths are different.
So when we are together, somebody's stars will be running, others also. But when we get divided, the stars will fall.
Prashantji is saying something on this point. Prashantji, please.
Family run business, the staff with us is also an integral part of the business.
Right.
I feel, when our stars are not working well, the staff starts working well. It will go together. I think they are also extended family, and we have to take it that way, that they are also.
That's what Vinodji said in the beginning.
Yeah, we have to take a different initiative with this.
Right.
So we have to respect them and take them together.
Thank you very much. If you want to know more about CKC, buy this book. It is available on 50% discount. And if you run an institution student, you get it complimentary, right, Vinodji? I have said it, so it's like that. We'll take a picture together. Rameshji, please come forward.